Hello everyone. In this lecture, we are going to learn how to do the transpose of a matrix. So generally, transpose of matrix is after giving rows and columns. That is, if you'll give 2 by 3 rows, I mean 2 columns and uh, 2 rows by columns, right? 2 rows and 3 columns. If you'll give, the transpose of matrix will be 3 rows and 2 columns, right? Rows will become columns and columns will become rows when you do the transpose of it matrix. So that one we wanted to implement over here in this program. Right. So as usual, we are starting with the hash include stdio.h and then int main. So I'm taking 2 matrices over here. So A matrix, you'll read the values and its resultant will be in your transpose of matrix, and R comma C as usual rows and columns, I comma J for the for loop comparisons, right? So printf enter rows and columns. So if I give 3 by 4, 3 rows and 2 columns will be there in R and C. Next, I'm asking user to enter the values that you wanted to read it into the A matrix. So same thing, which we had discussed in the matrices for I is equals to 0 and I less than R. So if I give 0 less than 3, condition is true, you will enter into the second for loop. J is equals to 0, 0 less than C, condition is true, and enter element A of percentile D. So your 0 and 0, A of 0, 0. At that particular position, your value will be stored. Again, your J value will be incremented. So now what will happen? J value will become 1, 1 less than C, condition is true. So you will read the value of A of 0, 1, condition is true. So at that position, you will store second element and then you will increment the value J plus plus. So now your J value will become 2. So 2 less than 2, condition false. So you will come back to the I for loop. Now your I value will become 1, 1 less than 3, condition is true. So now you will read value at A of 1, 0. Similarly, A of 1, 1. And again, after J condition false, you will move back to the I loop and your value will become 3. Sorry, 2, 2 less than R, 3, condition is true. So again, you will enter the values at A of 2, 0, A of 2, 1. Right. So in that format, all the matrix values will be stored into the A of matrix. Then we are trying to print that. So similar fashion. So here you should check out the condition when you are printing the normal matrix. So whatever the basic matrix you are taking, when you are printing that one, you will use the same for loop which we had used in the upper case in the above, and the same thing. Once you are completed with the first row, I need to move on to the second row, right? So for that, we are using this J is equals to C minus 1, and then you will get a new line, right? So that is what printing, I mean, reading values and printing the given matrix. So here comes the actual logic of your transposing. So I is equals to 0, I less than R, and for J is equals to 0, J less than C. Right. So now what you are doing, you are assigning A matrix to transpose matrix. So here A of ij we took, right? So transpose of matrix, what we want reverse. Columns will become rows and rows will become columns, right? So for that reason, instead of writing transpose of ij is equals to A of ij, you will write transpose ji is equals to ij. So now your here I value is actually rows. So that one will become j here. That is column value, and your J value will become I value in the transposed matrix. Next, so after assigning that whole A of ij to transpose of ji, we will print that transpose of matrix. So even in the printing also, what we need to do is, for I is equals to 0, previously we had written I less than R, right? So here you should write I less than C, because we are doing rows and rows are converted into columns and columns are converted into rows. For that reason, you are checking out I less than C, and for the rows column place like J is equals to 0, you are making it as J less than R, and simply you will print the same transpose of ij value. Why I am taking here ij? I had created here ji. So according to that, I had modified my for loop condition statements. That is the reason I'm printing here again transpose of ij exactly. I'm not going to print again transpose of ji here. Remember that one, because I had changed the conditions here. And similarly, when you are wanted to make it a new row, here we used to write if j is equals to c minus 1, because when your columns are being changed. But here what we did, all your columns has become rows, no? So now we will apply the condition for that rows only. So if j will become j is equals to r minus 1, then you need to print the new line. So the thing is, you need to remember this I should be changed to columns, j should be become rows, and j is equals to r minus 1. This is what you need to remember when you are writing the transpose of matrix. And also when you are reading, I mean when you are assigning that a of ij to transpose of matrix, instead of ij you will keep the ji. That was the only difference which makes the whole transpose of your matrix. You need not get worried that it is such a big program like that. You don't get worried by seeing length of the program in matrices. It will be very easy. Just only the thing is, you should know how to implement that particular area. That is, for addition, if you'll just remember one for loop, you'll be able to do. That is sum of what is that? Sum of ij is equals to a of ij plus b of ij. If you'll just remember that one particular line, and if you know the little logic that you are using one for loop for rows and columns, then it will be easy for you. And coming to transpose, you need to remember that all your rows are becoming columns and columns are becoming rows. That's it. If you'll remember that, it will be very easy to implement. So now let us compile this code, and once we check out whether we are getting the output or not. Yes, compiled. I'm giving 3 rows and 2 columns, right? So it is asking you to enter the values. So I'm giving 2, 2, 4, 5, 1, 6. See here, how many columns are there? I had only 2 columns. How many rows are there? So what did I give? Rows into columns, right? So 3 rows I want. So I had given 3 rows. 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 6. So now what will happen? These columns will become rows here and rows will become columns here. So 2, 4, 1 will become your row. 3, 5, 6 will become your second row. So the transpose of matrix is being done in this program, right? So you can give of any rows and any columns within the 10 only, because I had declared in the program the value of matrices is 10 by 10 matrix, right? So within that 10, whatever the values you want, you can give it and do the transpose of matrix, right? I think this is clear for everyone. That's all for this video. Thank you all.